Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of your favorite podcast, I Don't Know, with your hosts, myself, Jackie, and
Sana.
And we have two guests with us today. So exciting, friends of the pod. We have, if you all remember, Bianca from our end of the year episode.
Our season finale.
Our season finale
the
last
unofficial.
year. We have Joey, her husband, here.
Hi.
And we have her brother, Edison, joining us. Because we thank you both for being here. So excited. I know it was a little bit short notice, but we needed to get some male perspective going on this show.
Because we also went through my family, so now we're like next in line.
Bianca's family. Yeah, I know. So really quickly before we really get into it, weekend recap. What did everyone get up to this weekend? Sana, we'll start with you.
So me and Bianca got Legree certified. So that's what we were up to all weekend. So stay tuned for your future trainers and owners. And that's work and that's basically all I did.
Nice. What about you two?
Go ahead. I mean, we were excited that Eddie was coming out. My wife and Sana went got Legree certified, so I stayed at home with our golden retriever, and I cleaned the house and studied, and then drank a lot last night with the family. So,
what a stand-up husband.
I know.
It was great.
Fantastic.
Yeah, I worked on Saturday and then flew out here Sunday.
Nice.
Yeah, just visiting for a few days.
Nice. Where are you from? Where are you
Well,
visiting
I'm originally from California, but I'm visiting from Maryland.
Nice. Okay.
He left us.
Well,
I'll be back.
I don't know. I like
Come
your
back
place.
to Cali.
I'll keep the place.
That'll become the vacation home now.
There we go.
No, totally. All right. So today, I think it's going to be a spicy episode
We
today,
have a lot
which
to talk
I'm
about.
all about it. I'm all about it.
Love the spice.
Because if anyone follows us on social media, we had one of our clips that we posted from last episode blow up, but we had a lot of comments.
When almost 400.
Yeah, almost 400 comments on it. Not good comments.
Not good.
Not insightful
And all targeting
comments.
me.
I think that's, to be debated. I mean, any press is good press, right?
You're right.
That's
Any
true.
press is good press. Well, that's why part of the time I was laughing. I was like, you guys do know you're just pushing my video further out there.
Yeah.
By every comment.
We love the engagement.
We love the
Yeah. So, but no, because of it, which I think we'll have to kind of go into, we decided to bring on some guests because we're like, all right, we need to talk about some stuff because I think things are getting very twisted in the comments. And Joey, you brought up kind of a good clarification.
Yeah. So and I saw the clip and it started strong where you were saying that if a guy, and this is in the context of a first date, right?
Correct.
So if a guy comes to you and says, hey, I want to take you on a date, he should plan. And I don't get if there's any debate there, but there should not be. If you're inviting anyone, girl or man, you're planning the date. You are taking responsibility for the date. Where I think it got a little messy is if you ask me where you want to go, it's done.
Yes.
And where I had a little bit of confusion there is are you saying that if they ask your opinion or they ask for like some feelers or some details that you're done? Or if you're saying, if they're asking you, like, so what do you want to do?
If they ask me, what do I want to do? That's, for me, if they're asking me, like, dietary questions or, like, oh, do you like to hike? Would you like to go on a hike? Like, that's fine. But if it's blatantly like, hey, I want to go on a date. What do you want? Where do you want to go? What do you want to do? It's like, where's the effort? Where's the communication? Be a man. Plan a date. Or forget be a man. It's, like you said, whoever's initiating the date should be the one planning, whether I'm initiating or the man is initiating.
Even if he's asking, do you want to go on a walk or a hike? I don't think that's necessarily right. You do that before you ask if you want to go to the date. I think that's all it is.
I
Especially
agree.
with someone. If you want that information, you're just getting to know somebody. You ask all those things while you're getting to know them, and those 3 text messages back and forth. What do you like? What is your interest? Rather go on a night and day.
What do you do on the weekends?
You feel it out.
And then you say, do you want to go on a date? Okay, I'll pick you up at 7.
100%. Based upon what the conversation has been, then you curate the date. And you could be, even if you are like, I don't know what she's into, it could be as simple as, do you enjoy Italian food? I know a great spot.
I love that. And I think we made this point that in the context of a first date, that is your best foot forward.
Yes.
If you are actually interested in dating or getting to know this person, you are putting your best foot forward. And if your best foot forward is, I don't know, so what do you want to do?
Yeah.
That's a terrible best foot forward. And I don't get why that's controversial to say.
It's so controversial to the point that guys were saying, oh, imagine thinking that someone being considerate is low effort. And they're trying to plan the date to make you happy. And
and they were saying like, oh, well, what if they want to make sure that they don't take you to a restaurant that you hate. And it's like, well, again, it's not about that. It's, yes, obviously, like, and someone was like, oh, then I'll take you to a seafood place and you're allergic to seafood. And it's like, yeah, dude, you should actually be having this conversation. And as a woman, you should be saying like, oh, well, I have a seafood allergy, just FYI. Like,
right.
But what do you guys think? Like, because everyone was saying it's consideration and it's being kind.
There's a real fine line between saying like, oh, it's consideration and it's low effort.
It's lazy.
Yes, it's low effort.
That's as a guy, like, and I haven't dated in 10 years.
But still.
Rub that in.
But we have three singles here.
I have an
but
amazing
he also
life
agrees.
and marriage.
Yeah.
No, but even back then, when I was young, stupid Joey at 20, like, I knew that if I was going to ask someone out, like, I had to prepare a date. And, like, I'm not saying, like, I had to go, like, okay, we're going to go to a 5-star restaurant and then I'm going to
it doesn't have to be.
Like, no, it was always like, hey, like, I have a cool restaurant that I want to go. And I would put in effort and it wouldn't be like the Cheesecake Factory.
Yeah.
But like the other thing is like I don't think it has to necessarily be expensive. You just gotta show.
It doesn't have to be expensive.
It does not have to be expensive. We've always said that.
Doesn't have to be expensive.
And
I mean, our counter argument was also like, where they're like, well, she should pick the place, which a few guys said that. And then we're like, okay, what if we pick the 5-star restaurant?
Yeah.
Then?
What if you ask me and I'm like,
then I'm a gold digger.
Yeah. For
then
sure.
I'm a gold digger.
I've had that happen before, and then you just sit there like, wait, no. Now I'm taking it in and out. Let's go.
Yeah.
So it's
You know what I'm saying? Like,
but you want me to pick, and then when I do pick, it's like, well, that's too expensive. I'm giving you the option to pick according to your wallet.
Yeah.
And I want to see how somebody reacts in a bad situation. If we do go to seafood and you didn't like seafood, how are you going to communicate that to me?
I would have told you.
That would actually be.
But I would have told you when you suggested the plate.
No, you're not gonna know. I'm gonna drive you there. We're gonna get out. We're gonna valet. We're gonna walk up and you're like, oh, I can't eat.
I would probably figure out something to eat on the menu.
See, and that's
exactly.
Yeah.
But then, are you gonna tell me? Are you in a bad mood? Are you in a good mood? I mean, these are
I wouldn't be in a bad mood.
But some people would, and
yeah.
the people that are. I'm glad that we had this little confrontation. I can walk away, and I just wasted one meal.
Well, that's
I
why.
enjoyed.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
well, I had a good time. Well, no, that's why it's actually kind of important to see them like interact with wait staff, and to see like if they're rude or something.
Wait, how they interact with wait staff
is a big thing.
That is either like a go or no go. Like if you are the littlest hint of rude, we're done.
I agree.
I'm not doing this.
But also don't be a pushover. So how do you assert yourself without being...
So if something is wrong, how are you communicating? Because it does give you slight insight as to how this could go if it went further. And it actually is really great insight. Yeah, like you said with the menu. Like if you show up and it's like, are you going to be like, this is gross? Or are you going to be like, I can find something. Don't worry about it. I can find something.
And the guy realize that and you guys are just doing appetizers, having a drink, and then going somewhere else.
Yeah. Right.
Because if you didn't like seafood, maybe you would have enjoyed In-N-Out after. So let's have a couple drinks. Let's go spend another $15.
In-N-Out,
It's also because I feel like from a female's perspective, you already made the effort to plan something. And if things go like sideways, like they go sideways, but at least I know that you did try to put your best foot forward.
Well, and that's the thing too, is I think from a female perspective, like, because again, a lot of the men were saying like, oh, well then what are you supposed to be doing? And it's like, well, we're supposed to be.
We got comments like, so you expect them to plan the date? Like, what are you bringing to the table?
I'm gonna throw this out because this is one that Bianca and I talked about, and I have such very hard opinions about this. It goes both ways, and here's the reason. Like, I asked Bianca out for the first date.
Okay.
And we messed up. Like, I asked her out for a date. I was working a double because I was working 2 jobs at the time. I had to cancel the date the first time, and we had to go out the next night. And I felt terrible. But I was like, hey, like, I'm so sorry. This isn't, like, not flaking. I've worked 14 hours today. It's 10 o'clock. I smell like beans and rice because I worked at a Mexican restaurant at the time.
Love it.
And I'd have to shower. We'd have to go to somewhere late.
You told my sister after 10 o'clock that you weren't making on
I texted her. But, like, I was just like, we were texting back and forth. Listen, this was not my best foot forward. So I got lucky. I got lucky that Bianca gave me the second day. The next day, I planned the date. We had a great time. We had a wonderful time. The second date, Bianca asked me out, and she planned it.
She asked because she asked
me.
Yes.
She planned it. Yes. And she made a point of paying, too, which I don't think was necessarily necessary. I'm a little old-fashioned.
Stop it. It's not necessary, but oh my God, when it happens.
Yes.
And I'll even stop it from happening, but
you don't understand.
Yeah.
I already knew Bianca was different the first date. When she went ahead and paid for the second date and planned it, was like, I'm in love.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now don't tell her that because she didn't
Well, you're
find that out for
married
months.
now, but-
Yeah, I know. But no, for
but,
real.
but,
like,
but I think
so
that
true,
goes
though,
back to
because-
the who initiates should
Take the responsibility.
But it's also
responsibility.
the effort because you said, hey, and that's typical, right? It's just typical within kind of like the hetero dating norms. Like the man asks the woman out. And yeah, but again, it doesn't mean that it can't be reciprocated second date or third date. Then she's like, hey, this band is playing. Would you, you mentioned them,
Love it.
like, would you like to go? Like, I got tickets, right? And she paid and she's planning and she's like, okay, here are the logistics.
Yeah.
It's a matching, but here's the thing. It's a woman will do that if she knows that the effort is there because a woman will match your effort. I'm going to
100%.
match the investment.
That's not true.
So
That's not true.
Not always.
not
true.
always.
What
Not
you're
always
saying
true.
is a woman will go up to that point and no further, but it doesn't mean she'll match it.
well, if I see that your effort is asking me out, you planned it, you put in effort, and you paid, right? And it was a great time. I'm going to match that effort to on a date level. Like, am I going to give more? No, but are you going to give more? Like, it's this kind of going back and forth.
I agree and disagree with
Okay,
that.
go ahead.
You got to be okay with being vulnerable, especially nowadays, right? So
You
if
have
I'm
to
only
be.
gonna
Absolutely.
match your energy, but I think of you more seriously, and you're still
Okay.
thinking about dating, I'm gonna put myself out there, even if it means that I might get hurt for it because I want to see what happens there.
Mm-hmm.
And back to the whole timing part, right?
Right.
So you do what you feel in that situation. Be vulnerable
Right.
and courageous enough to lose that person in that opportunity.
Mhm.
Because a lot of times what happens is we give a fake self to that person because we want to keep them interested.
Entertained and interested. Yeah.
So I way rather tell you that you've been running through my head all day
Mhm.
and lose you than figure out all day how to keep me in your head.
See, and that's also the difference, I think, because I agree with that.
I agree with
and I
that
agree
too.
with being vulnerable and open. I think that's actually one of the biggest things missing from the dating world right now is just that vulnerability and the whole games and toxic bullshit, like not interested
Yeah,
in
to
it.
stay toxic.
Yeah, not interested whatsoever. But
Oh, we all like the games.
everyone loves the games. But if you
To an
actually,
extent.
yes. How about this? You tell me from your guys' opinion, the chase.
Mm-hmm.
The difference between games and chase. I know we'll get back to the vulnerability
Yes,
thing,
there is
but
a difference. Oh,
okay.
yeah.
So explain the difference because Sana and I have talked about this a lot, but love to get a man's opinion on it.
I always felt like the chase is, I want to know I'm wanted, and I want you to know you're wanted. And
Mm.
there's a little back and forth, there's a little tug and pull. You may not
Uh-huh.
say it all the way up front, but like my intentions were always clear that I was into Bianca when we started
That's
dating.
key, though.
And she gave pretty good signals right up front that she was interested in me too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And because of that, going back to what you were saying of like being a little vulnerable, like you gotta take a risk. You want an
Yeah,
actual
take a risk.
relationship. You
Mhm.
want to actually win the relationship game and find someone who's long term. And like marriage, no marriage, long term relationships come from taking a risk.
Very true.
Yeah,
You
you
want to
have
play
to.
the game and say, I'm only gonna put in what they put in. I'm only gonna do this if they do that. I'm not gonna leave them on red. I'm gonna leave her on red because
Yeah.
she made me wait 2 hours. I'm gonna make her wait 4.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're never gonna
those
win.
games.
You're
Yeah,
never gonna
that's
win.
game.
And not
So
only that,
true.
the guy is not going to get very far because if they did the same thing, you guys And then
Yeah.
on the flip side, what if a guy's too nice and too interested and doesn't play? Because that's happened so many times, and I'm okay with losing that situation
Like, you
because it's
mean
not worth my time.
Too like aggressive, too
No,
like
no, no.
needy.
Like literally a few dates in or something like that. Hey, I'm connected to you. I feel this way. Like I think you're amazing, right? Like,
Okay.
but it feels too soon.
Okay.
Because I think that happens a lot, right? Where
I don't know if that would necessarily, but I think it depends if she was feeling that way. I think if she wasn't feeling that way, then she would be like,
Well, I
Well,
also
pump the
think again
brakes.
the maturity, right? The maturity
Yeah.
that comes in because if like let's say you said like, hey, I don't know what maybe 3 dates in and you were like, oh, this is how I'm feeling, like I'm really into you, like I'd like to continue this, like I'm not talking to anyone else, I'm not
Yeah.
saying you don't have to, I'm just letting you know where I'm at. Again, there's a maturity. So if I wasn't quite there yet, the mature thing would be, thank you for letting me know. Like, I appreciate your vulnerability. I'm not quite there yet, but I would like to continue this. Like, I'm going to continue talking to people, or again, just that openness and that vulnerability, or just saying, like, thank you for letting me know. I feel like that's a little too soon. Do you mind if maybe we, like, or take a step back, or I just want to let you know that like I hear you, but I'm just not there. If you're okay with that, I think I can get there, but I'm just not there yet. So again, that mature communication.
I think what happens a lot of times is that people, and that makes sense. It's mature, it makes sense, but it makes somebody go the other direction, right? Like imagine if somebody's really like, listen, I want to see what it really, I'm just trying to date. Well, do you guys need to spend more time together?
Absolutely not. That's exactly it. Then that's saying like, oh, you know what? Like I'm actually just out of a relationship 6 months, so I'm just kind of casually dating. So I don't think we're a right fit.
Yep.
Like wish you the best, you know,
I
type
got a
of thing.
question for y'all.
Okay.
In the dating pool that you guys have been in, because I'm out of the game.
Yeah.
Again,
Say it again. Say it again.
Just letting you know.
Has it been for a decade? Maybe?
Yeah.
No, I have this question because before I met Bianca, I dated.
Yeah.
Like, I went from like big relationship in high school to big relationship in high school, leading into college to 1 year of just the worst dates of my life.
Okay.
And I swore off dating. And then a month later, I met Bianca. And I was like, oh, you're coming into my life now?
Yeah.
I just got done with this.
Yeah.
But how often do you send a text to someone else that you are like nervous to send when you're dating someone? Like, how often do you send a text and you're like, oh, I'm taking that jump?
All the time.
All the time?
Really?
Really?
Yeah.
Because I dated girls and I would never feel like I was really connected. I would send texts, but it would never feel that thing. The day that I texted Bianca to be like, hey, you want to go on a date with me? I was sweating. I felt that emotional commitment because I knew that there was a risk that she would say no.
No,
Bianca,
I get that.
A little bit higher than my scale. We need to call this now. Like, I was punching above my weight class by like 2 or 3 goes because you see me now where I'm wearing like a shirt that fits. I dress myself nice.
Yeah.
But you met me in
I met
college.
you when she met you. Yeah.
Yeah.
When I couldn't dress myself, when I had bad haircut, I wore clothes that didn't fit.
Moons ago.
And I drove like a terrible car. I was working 2 jobs. Like, I didn't
we
have anything to offer.
all look bad. Did you see me? Like, we all looked bad.
No. First off, no. But second off, like, you saw that like, when Bianca's like this put together person, and she was, popular in high school.
Yeah.
She
knows what she
she's
wants.
a charismatic person.
she's
very
Guys
charismatic.
wanted
She's
Bianca.
so charming.
She's got an amazing personality.
Yeah,
for sure.
She's incredible.
I mean, like, I'm not saying that I'm chopped liver, but I'm like not like some tall.
She's intimidating.
athlete that
I get it.
abs
It's
that, like,
intimidating.
has a
It's
six-
intimidating
because she's incredible.
But like, I knew that was a reality, but I like sent that text because I was like, I gotta.
I don't want to
try.
miss the opportunity.
Exactly.
For sure.
yeah.
So like, you feel like you send that all the
not
time?
in the same way, right? In a way where I think I'm a little different now, but like, okay, let's just even go back to last year with the 2 guys.
Yes.
I feel like when they're not giving me and I start to see where it's becoming distant, then you send the like, what's going on? And I feel like to me, that is risky. I don't like to send that. And then that's when you hear well, I'm just whatever bullshit, right?
Yeah.
So I think we go through.
I've
because
sent
guys
some
go
risky
guys
texts.
go hot and cold. I think you guys forget. Guys go hot and cold on girls all
I don't
the
forget.
time.
I have friends that are still
like I
single.
will have guys that like no, I mean not recently, but like in my past, I will be like about you 100, and then the next day it's like 20%.
For the guy because you were about him 100. Right?
No, like he'll that night you see him and he's all about you, and then the next day it's like nothing happened.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, is this in person?
Yeah.
Oh.
Like, for example, I don't even think he listens, but like there was a guy that I was seeing briefly when I was single last year, and like he would get drunk and introduce me as his girlfriend and shit, and then sober it would be like,
nothing.
The next
Way to
day
do
it would
that.
be like nothing.
That's a red flag and a half.
No, it's a big red flag.
I mean, that's
Listen, what's redder than a red flag?
Yeah, that-
We got a red tarp here. We're flying the red sails.
That is a red flag. Don't get me wrong, but I'm saying that guys do that shit. So it's like we do, and then we get in this mind fuck of like, I'm confused, and then that's when you send the what?
But here's the
kinda-
difference.
Yeah.
Guys are usually kind of douchey when you guys are chasing them, and when we're chasing you, we're usually pretty sweet.
Yeah.
In that situation.
Yeah.
Right? So
Yes.
what takes you guys away is usually when we're way too sweet. When you guys are following us and we're kind of assholes.
Yeah.
I will say this.
Well, it's true because because we've talked about this is that he's hyper in his feminine energy. And so then we take on like the masculine. So we start to pursue. And then because like they're in their feminine energy and the men are, and we didn't recognize that, we didn't recognize the flag and a half, they start acting.
I was very vulnerable,
like,
okay.
Wait, but do you think it's feminine energy? Or do you think
Well, you don't know the whole like entity
I
of this scenario.
Okay.
Yeah,
the whole
it's-
entity was, granted, it was also very soon. It was like,
Yes.
yeah, it was just
Yeah, we're in a different place.
a different place than I am now, but.
Well, I think it's hard to explain, but like kind of feminine energy, but like then all of a sudden now I'm being the pursuer. And so, and kind of what we've been like kind of listening to and hearing is that like there's always going to be some, like you're always going to fall into a position. Someone's either going to be in the masculine or the feminine. And so if a woman is in the masculine, well then someone's got to adopt the feminine, and then the only other person is the man. So same thing if a man, like, you know, if he's in his feminine energy and he's coming off, then like the woman is going to adopt the masculine energy. So that could mean pursuit. I'm chasing after you. I'm coming after you. I'm, you know, oh, like I was just thinking about you all day. Or like, do you want to see each other again? Like, I'd love to grab a drink. Like, that's me now pursuing you. So what are you going to do? You're going to take the like, okay, well, I'm just going to receive. Right? Like, and that's typically what feminine energy is receiving.
Yeah.
Because typically masculine energy is the pursuit. Yes or no?
It's like a new perspective. He's like,
that was so
It's interesting because you're
I think
saying
it's deeper than that, but I mean
I was gonna say
know.
that's the thing. You're saying masculine and feminine energy, and I'm picking up passive and aggressive's not the right term. Active, like there's an active role and a more passive role, and I don't know. I think my thing is like that's gonna happen throughout the relationship. Like I got 10 years with the same beautiful woman in my
Again,
life.
10 now.
10 years. I'm
How
just
many
driving
again?
that
10
point
years.
home again. No, but like there are so many phases in which, you know, I've played a more passive role in our
That's
relationship.
gonna happen.
And I played a more active role. And like I think that's common. And even in the like I'm trying to think because I'm trying to think like what timelines you're talking about, because I was like, well, in the beginning timeline, the guy should be more active. And I'm like,
yes,
well,
that's
wait a
what we're
second,
talking
that's
about.
not necessarily true, because there were back and forths with Bianca and I, and there were times where she took the active role and told me what she wanted to do, and I was just like, yeah, I'm in for the ride.
No, but her telling you what she wanted to do is still feminine, because then you change, you do what she wants, she's doing that. What they're saying in this situation is if you were a little bit more distant, Bianca was like, no, but I want to be with you.
Yeah.
And then I do think I think
That
for
pursuit.
the most part, until we're at the point where we're on the same page and we're saying we're together and we're going to try to build something, until then,
yes,
I think it is very, very hard for a guy to like to be chased. We'll take advantage of the situation.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
course.
actually,
Well,
like
yeah.
realistically,
and that's a
100%.
fuckboy situation.
yeah, I was gonna say, I think
100%.
you're dealing with
That's
the
a
wrong type of
fuckboy.
guy there, because
Absolutely.
like
well, but the thing is that
but
what
you can
causes
be-
the
it's
chase.
The same guy can be the same for both.
That's true.
It's I think.
But I agree. But I think what causes the chase is the hot and cold, because they mess with you mentally, where it's like you're hot one day, cold one day, and then as a female, you're like, it's just.
Does that go a little bit back though to the games and the mature
But
communication?
it totally does.
I
Yeah, but
don't
hold
know
on.
that I would have
being hot because you've been drinking the night before and then being cold the next day. That's
Because you're
two
sober?
different things. Because
you know, like that's a pretty big.
I'm just saying, me drinking is
Is
a very
this
different
red here?
person.
It looks a little red here to me.
I'm just.
I need the green mic.
No, but yeah. I mean, it's
No, drinking does hinder judgment and everything, but I think I'm talking about like when you have been going on dates, it's not like the first time meeting and you talk all the time, and then I don't know.
yes. No, I'm okay.
Shit's complicated.
No, it's but still, like how I think, like you said, Edison, like until you have decided that you are exclusive, we are together, we're in a relationship.
We're building something. Let's see where this goes.
To me, it's almost like the Venn diagram, right? Like we're here. So until we like communicate, then we create a Venn diagram where I'm going to kind of hit into the masculine. You're some kind of like, okay, the active passive like type of like, I'll come into the active, you'll come into the passive, and we'll kind of
Agree.
But we're still the bulk of us are still in our, you know, kind of respective circles. But until that happens, like it still should be like this. And yeah, so it's kind of what I think what you're kind of talking about is it's been like 4 or 5 times and then the games start playing or the games start coming into
because
play.
what are your thoughts on this? More apply to you. It's like for some guys, the chase is thrilling, but then when you know she's into you, it's no longer as thrilling. It's like, well,
Depends what the chase was for.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was gonna say
Oh.
if I'm after a booty call, yeah, once the chase is done, chase is done. And I had
This
so
is
many.
interesting.
Oh,
I had so
100%.
many. I never
Explain.
But
Elaborate.
all I'm saying is that if I'm chasing for a relationship,
Yeah.
I'm chasing for the relationship.
That makes a
So,
good point.
okay,
It depends.
That's
Yeah.
it. Okay, so
So if I'm chasing for, let's say, sex,
yes.
I have it, and now you are coming after me.
Yeah.
I won. What's the point? Like you see what I'm saying? Like there's a certain
There's
you
a
know what I'm saying?
reason.
Now I want you to want me after that, right? Because if not, I mean, my ego's hurt or whatever.
That's a different
issue. That's a different issue.
No, but I was just saying, right? Like, so I want that to happen, but at the same
Right.
time, you can't just let go of everything and be like, oh my God, he gave me good dick. Now I'm going to go crazy over him.
Got it. Interesting.
I'm just saying, you just can't. I don't know. And
Yeah. So, but if you're actively pursuing because of a relationship, is there
and
really
sometimes you don't know until it happens, and then after that, how each of you guys treat each other.
until
I'm gonna
after
throw
like
this
a
out
hookup
here.
happens,
Huh?
or after like a hookup happens,
Or just time.
Yeah,
just
like
time?
Yeah, like
I
a
don't-
hookup. Depends on how much time. Depends on what happens right after that.
Mhm.
If I'm pursuing and then that happens and then she changes and now she's like a stage 5 clinger calling me 15 times. Like I still need to chase after that. Like you see what I'm saying? Like it was
Right.
just sex that we had. There's so much more.
right?
Why am I all of a sudden not the man coming at? Like how did that happen? That all of a sudden. It's not that you give yourself, but how did I just get you in control? Like, how did that?
It's so easy.
I,
Yeah, I get what you're
how were
saying.
you so easily won? Like, how did I all of a sudden get to this level? Like,
Yeah.
I didn't know you yesterday, and then all of a sudden, like after we slept together, then all of a sudden you're like,
Yeah.
I'm ready to move in and like marry me. Like,
Not
how
gonna
did that happen?
100%.
Yeah, got it. So then, if it's a relationship, though, is there a difference? Then, like, is there? I guess my question is, could she do anything to really like stop you or make you turn cold if
Oh,
you're
yeah.
going after a relationship?
Yeah.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
She's not interested. I don't want to be with somebody that doesn't.
Well,
wanna be with me.
besides like
Yeah.
not interested.
Well, I think what's even more interesting because there's also
Well, that's the difference between I think like a simp. I think every man should be a simp for their female. I think the difference between what is a simp is the respect that you have for yourself.
okay.
Right?
Yeah.
So I do want to be that person. Hey, baby, let me open the door. Let me do this. Let me.
yeah,
ba,
but
ba,
that's
ba.
like a
I love that.
gentleman.
Yeah. Yes. The difference is that when the woman or the other person takes advantage of that person can't walk away because they're too afraid of losing this. Now you're a simp.
Yes.
Same action, but the second the woman takes advantage and you can't walk away from that, that's when you messed up.
Got it.
There is a difference
Got it.
between, hey, I'm gonna be caring and romantic, and I'm gonna show you love, and I'm gonna do the things that I think, your partner, your man, should do in this relationship,
Right.
and you think I need to do those things. You expect
Oh, I see
those
what you're
things
saying.
out of
I
me,
see
and if
what
I
you're saying.
don't do those for whatever reason, I had grocery bags, I couldn't open your car door,
Right.
and all of a sudden you're offended. Wait a second.
Well,
I'm in the simp
agree
role
with
now.
that. I agree with that, but I mean more of a you're giving yourself out there and then she's going on dates with other people and you don't dial that back.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You feel me?
That's absolutely
You see what I'm
simp.
saying?
Then
Yeah.
then- but that goes for both.
But I don't
ways.
think a woman should be a simp for a guy either. You see, the thing is that's the context. Is we lose something. It has to be full circle, right? You can't be masculine and a good man and then go and hit a woman or call her a bitch. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
that's not being masculine. All of a sudden, it
Right.
does it. So being masculine goes the full circle, right? Because now they trust you to make the right decisions. That even though you're mad, you're not going to curse them out because it's the wrong thing to do.
Right. Right.
Being masculine isn't just being aggressive. It's actually
Absolutely.
being tempered and not being aggressive.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And actually, yes, that's an excellent point. Being masculine does not mean that you are an aggressor. It doesn't mean that you can like lose your temper and that you can just, do whatever the fuck
Yeah.
you want because, oh, I was mad and I'm a man. Like, absolutely
No, he
not.
said it right,
Like,
yeah.
absolutely agree with that. I think a lot of people get that confused.
And I think that's what happens with women. Let's say we had sex. Now you're crazy about me. Now this. If you don't show me you have boundaries and I already won, why? Like, how is there respect for either of us, right? Like, if I do that to you and I'm just always there like a sad puppy dog, even though I disrespect you and you don't put me in my place, because y'all like to be put in your place when you know you're wrong,
That's very true.
and so do we though, right? Because we're all
Very true.
humans, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's just done in a different way.
Well, and especially by someone you actually knows cares for you and is doing it from a place of like love and kindness.
And it's one of those like, listen, you're about to lose me right now.
yeah.
What do you want to do?
Yeah.
None of
about
us
it.
do that, right? So I would say that the man that sleeps with that woman and then the next morning that woman's crazy and then he's like backs off, you also didn't risk it and say, what's going on here? I'm gonna call you on your bullshit.
Got it.
What are we doing here?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Are you still chasing me, or did all of a sudden, because I'm being vulnerable enough to be there with you, do you think I'm gonna be there tomorrow just because I'm being all nice
That
and sweet?
expectation
Yeah.
of, hey, you got me once, you get me every time. Like
I'm showing you I'm bringing
You
you
don't-
flowers, but it doesn't mean that I'm bringing you flowers for you as much as I'm bringing them for me, because I want to show you how much I love you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You feel me?
Yeah.
It's still for me,
Yeah.
and when you don't deserve it, I walk away.
Right. No, I think you're right about the self-respect, really, because we were talking about that is like the difference between a gentleman, masculine, and just a nice guy. And that there's a true difference between the two.
There is a
But it's a
difference.
fine
no, I know. I
line.
just hate the nice guy. I hate the I'm a nice guy. I'm a nice guy.
Yeah, but
Somehow
you're-
I have a wonderful, beautiful wife.
I think you're
Why
Yeah, but
is
you're
the
not.
world so
you're,
good to
so
me?
there's
No.
a big difference.
I
She's
know.
right.
I
But that's
think
what I'm
a
saying. Like
nice
these guys
guy's
that
the
say that I'm a
pushover.
nice guy.
Yeah.
They're I'm a nice enough guy, but I expect things from you.
See, I think you're, and because we've talked about this, like you're a kind man, and a kind man is a true sign of a gentleman. And because I always think that there's a difference between nice and kind.
100%.
I always tell people, like, people will be like, well, I don't think that like, or I'm not a nice person. Like, we have a friend.
Yeah.
Shout out to Gimme. She knows
I
this.
like her.
She knows it's coming. And she always says like something about like, oh, because I'm not nice. And I'm like, no, you're not nice, but you're kind. She has a really kind heart. She's a very kind-hearted person, but nice, not
She doesn't
necessarily.
pull her punches. She's gonna tell you
Yes.
exactly
Oh
what she
yeah.
thinks.
Oh yeah.
I love
She
that.
she will literally
100%.
just like stare you down, and it's the craziest thing. But like I always say that there's a difference between nice and kind. And so for you, like I wouldn't be like, oh my God, he's such a nice guy. Like no, Joey's a kind
yeah.
man. He is a
sweet thing to
kind
say, thank
gentleman. You know, and
Because think
like
about it this way: how nice is that guy? You already friend zoned him.
Yeah.
It's already done.
Yes.
It's already done.
Yes.
Oh, he's so nice.
Well,
Yeah.
because nice equals pushover. Nice equals I can
Passive.
walk all over you.
For you.
Passive. You won't have a backbone.
You're just gonna be super agreeable, which
Nobody-
again is kind of
a female
feminine.
doesn't
like,
want agreeable.
Yeah,
I
no.
don't like, even as a friend, I don't like friends that agree with everything I say.
Right.
I need
Yeah.
someone to have an opinion.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
I
true.
need someone to have a backbone and tell me when I'm wrong and call me on my bullshit, whether it's a
Totally.
romantic relationship or a friendship.
Yeah, I don't want someone who's afraid to be like, you were wrong.
Yeah.
I think
Go ahead.
oh in if you're seeking a relationship, you're seeking a partner.
Mm.
And I think people like really don't understand what that means is that like, when you're solo, when you're doing your life, you have your life.
Right.
When you are in a relationship that's committed, you have a joint life. You are sitting there, and I am wondering what Bianca's doing right now. I'm wondering where she's at. I know what she's got to do tomorrow. Like, I am planning my life around what's going on in her life, and she's doing the same for me.
Right.
You need a partner that is gonna support your life. And really, you wouldn't partner with someone in class who doesn't do their work, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
who's
No,
absent
that's
all
the
the
best
time.
way to put it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
so why are you gonna go sit there and say, "Hey, I'm gonna commit half of my joint life to someone who's not gonna show up a lot,
Yeah.
who's gonna need me to put in extra effort"? I'm putting in effort for my life right now.
Yeah.
Life
Yeah.
ain't easy. I think we
Yeah.
can all agree to that.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so when you look at that partner relationship, you gotta sit there and say, like, okay, am I a worthy partner right now? And if not, like, how am I gonna change that? I'm
Yeah.
gonna put that up.
No,
And we
that's
also
good.
give up so much of our power in these situations. We give all of us. We give
Yeah.
up so much of ourselves. So the thing is, I don't think we know how to make boundaries. How
That's
to
a tough one.
that's really what it is. Because
Very true.
and this is for both of us. You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
like, if whoever it is, it doesn't matter if it's male or female. If we know they're gonna be there, right? It's like all the mountains here. You don't enjoy them until they snow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Until they look different. Until you're somewhere else. Until you're in the Midwest and you look around, you're like, where are the mountains?
Yeah.
You live in Hawaii, it's the same thing. You live anywhere in the
Right.
country, what you see every day.
You
If
take
you
for
don't
granted.
think you can lose it, if that's not an understanding, if there's no boundaries that you know that if I don't do this, if that, you're not gonna appreciate it.
You're not going to respect
Yeah. Well, I think that's such a good way to like put boundaries in that perspective, because I think everyone thinks about it like, well, it's for me and I'm the gatekeeper, and which like, yes, but also like if you're not communicating those boundaries, then that person thinks that it's never going to go away, and they are going to treat you as such.
Yeah.
Like they will treat you as if they think that it'll never go away.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like, if you're like, yes, you need to do it for yourself, but also like it tells that other person a lot about you. And I don't think we always think about it that way. And
Yeah, we don't.
We're not people of our words either.
yes.
If you do this, I'm
Yes.
done with you. Yeah, you're with them the next week.
No, yeah,
Yeah.
we're very forgiving. You get over
Yes.
things. There's always people say things and then there's never intent. They just say it,
But
hoping
we're
their behavior will
too
change.
loose with saying things.
We're too loose. I agree.
So way too loose.
I'm
We're
done.
too
It's
loose.
over. It's how? Okay, then,
Right.
And then not only that, then be done. Then the other person should have
Yeah.
said, "Oh, you're done. You said that yesterday. There isn't anything here.
Yeah,
What do you-
because
Right.
they
What do you want to
know.
cuddle?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, when it
Yeah.
comes to parents,
Empty
we
threats.
talked about with my mom, where it's like, even when I would get in trouble back in the day, like, oh, you're grounded. I'm like, tomorrow's gonna be fine.
Yeah.
You know people's habits. You know what you
Yes.
can get away with. You
Yes.
know that even if they say I'm done, tomorrow they're gonna be there.
Yeah.
But yeah, you need to have a backbone. You need to be able to just be like, no, walk away,
Right.
and have those boundaries, because no one is gonna respect you
Right.
or appreciate you or.
I mean, if
Yeah.
you don't respect
Yeah.
yourself and you don't put yourself in that, why would anybody else?
No, that's
And
facts.
there's nothing
That's facts.
wrong about that. It's
Yeah.
natural, right? Like, and the thing is, we don't advocate for ourselves. We show up for our friends. We don't show up for ourselves. We show up for
Very
this.
true.
You would tell your girlfriend, "Don't put up with that."
Oh my God, this is literally
then
her
you
and I.
put up with it.
I put up with
Everything she tells me not to
Everything.
do, she does.
Yep. Literally everything I tell her, I'm like, absolutely not. Or she'll show me profiles from Hinge. I'm like, no, that dude's a douchebag. Like, absolutely not. This is exactly what's going to go down. I've told her so many different things. And then here's me and I'm like, well, I don't want to tell you who I talked to last night.
He called.
Yeah.
There's a level at which we're not fully objective about ourselves, but we also
Yeah.
put pressure on people to be better than we are. You
That's
know,
very
And
true.
It's
That's very
you
true.
want
Very
want
true.
people in your life to do better than you. Like, this is a real thing that, like,
Because it's
I will
easier to
tell-
hold them accountable than yourself.
Yes, because I don't have to
Shut
go
up,
through the
Edson.
hard stuff. But it's a thing where it's like, I want better for Sana than I got.
Yes.
Like, I do.
Yes.
I want you to find a guy
Yeah.
that treats you better than I because, like, I think about, like, and you know they say, like, with when you look back to your past and cringe, it's because you've grown. It's because you've grown, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I look back to the things that I've done in the past as a 21-year-old, as a 22-year-old, as a 25-year-old, and I'm 31, and I guarantee you, like, I struggle with them sometimes. 'Cause
Yeah.
I'm like, how am I where I'm at right now? Where, like, I'm finally at a point where, not finally, but I'm at a point where, like, I feel like I have good direction. I have people around me that I care about. I feel like I'm in a good spot in life, and it's taken a long while to get here. And yet I look at all the decisions I made, and I made a ton of wrong ones.
But that's everybody does.
Right. But when we're talking to people,
Yeah.
what are we going to tell them?
The good.
Do this. Don't. And then you're going to sit there and you're kind of going to judge them if they don't. Too, right? When they actually do go talk to that guy from Hinge, even though he obviously was a fuckboy. Like,
Yeah.
it's tough. It's tough. It's
Yeah.
tougher when
Yeah.
you're in it. And I think we need to give ourselves a little bit more grace in the sense
So
of,
true.
like, it's okay to fuck up.
Yeah.
Like, you can fuck up and still know that you fucked up, or you can fuck up and deny it.
Yeah.
So you got to
Yes.
hold yourself a little bit more accountable on those things.
No, that's what my therapist says. She's always like, remember, like, she always asks, like, and can you give yourself grace? And I'm
Yeah.
like, I think so.
God, if you guys can tell Bianca that, I swear, because
It's
you know,
hard.
she's
It's
too hard
hard.
for that.
Well,
It's
we all do,
it's
right?
hard.
We all have expectation on ourselves. We all
Yeah.
do that situation. But you're right. Like, if I talk to me, like if I talk to my friends the way I talk to me,
Oh God.
no one to be in my life.
Yeah.
Period. I'm an asshole to me. You know what I'm saying?
I get that. I get that.
How come you didn't get up and do more? Why didn't you go work out?
Yeah.
You lazy
So
fuck.
true.
Come on,
No,
man.
it's just like
So
you're such
true.
a piece of
Yeah.
shit yourself.
Yeah, I would have zero friends because I would just
100%.
be like, yeah, like you suck. Like,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Who are you? Why are you here? Don't look at me. Walk.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
No, it's true.
but we treat ourselves that way.
Yeah.
You know?
And it's hard not to though. Like it's really hard, but yeah, we do this all the time. I'm always telling her like, no, but it's true. Like because I come from that place where I'm like, I've dealt with this. I've seen this, you know, or I'm just like, no, I know exactly how this is going to go down. Like, and I think also like, yes, because we are looking at it from like an objective point of view. Like
different lens, yeah.
I'm
You're
out
not
of
in
it.
it,
I'm not
yeah.
in it. My heart's not in it. I don't
There's
know
no
this guy.
emotions.
Yeah. I have no dog in this fight. So, you know, I'm always for my friend. So I'm always thinking about it like, no, I'm trying to protect you. But yeah, you're always
Yeah,
telling
when
somebody
it's
like,
for yourself, your emotions are involved. It's
Yes.
like, but no, he
It's-
didn't mean it that way.
Yeah.
She didn't mean it that way. You don't get it. You don't
oh
understand.
God, the way we can justify.
You can justify it. That's the way you can justify and spin it in your head.
Yeah.
Where it's like,
it's
no.
incredible.
Yeah,
And
it's
one thing
incredible.
too, we all got to stop trying to change people. to be
Yeah.
good
That's a
enough
big
for
one.
someone
That's
to
a
see us
big
differently,
one.
That's a
to
big
be
one.
this, to that. You know what I'm saying? Like we gotta stop that part.
Yes.
We gotta know what we're dealing with. If we're dealing with a fuckboy, let's have fun with that situation. If we're
Stop
dealing
trying
with,
to
you know what I'm saying? If
change
we're
it.
dealing
Yeah.
with this, we're dealing with that. Enjoy that, but don't try to change it. That person's not trying to change.
I think us women have that issue.
Yes.
I think we all have more common issues than you think.
Really?
I'm gonna throw a
Really?
hot take out here because
Okay.
I actually I kind of agree with what you just said, but if you're gonna get in a long-term relationship, you have to be flexible to change. And if you look at who I was 10 years ago when Bianca met me versus who I am now, the change that she has pushed me towards has built me into a better person.
Because she
And-
saw you.
But the thing is, like, I made so many stupid decisions throughout that time, and she was like, you can be better. I can help you be better. And, like, the thing is, like, I hate to say it, she's kind of guided me along the way, and I know that you shouldn't try to change a person, and especially in the dating scene.
Yeah.
But
You
she
mean a guy
didn't
that's there to
change
fuck,
you.
you can't turn him into
I
a
don't agree. She didn't
relationship.
change you.
didn't
She saw the
change you.
potential.
No.
Yeah.
The foundation was there, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And
You-
hold on. And what you were looking for was the same thing that she was. And I will tell you this much, okay? How long until you committed to move up to San Jose with her?
It was like 6
6 months.
months. Yeah.
Right? What did I tell you when we drove up there? I pulled you aside. I said, Joey, you might have written a check. Your mouth is not ready. Or your
You
whatever.
told me
You
you
know,
don't
you're
get
not
it.
going to catch.
You're right. You're right.
And I remember
No,
this.
I literally grabbed him to the side. I said, listen, bro, we're good. You said something, and I understand being a man of your word. That's good. You said something, and now you're going to see it through. I'm telling you right now, you don't have to. I'm telling you right now, walk away
Wow.
from this situation. It's okay. My sister's going to deal with it. I'll figure out
Yeah.
how this happens.
But-
Walk away now if you
yeah.
need to, because what you're committing to is a whole lot.
And
It was a lot really soon, and they were young.
Yes.
They were
I remember
super
Bianca saying
young.
this.
It's so
Yeah.
romantic when you look at it historically, right?
Yeah.
No, for real. Like, because everyone
but
always
it
looks
is.
at me
Yeah,
and says,
I
hey, you guys
I know
moved
that
in.
year was hell.
You guys
Yeah.
moved in 6 months together. Now you're married.
But you guys were committed to something, is what I'm saying. You guys were on the same page from
yeah.
day one.
But oh my God, was that first year hard?
I
You guys-
We
remember.
broke up 100
lived
times
in a
that
300
first
They were
year.
they were in like
square
they were in a
foot
small
apartment in San Jose.
studio. They were in this-
360
and they
square
were still
feet.
getting
Yes.
to know each other.
First
It's only
time
been
6
6
either
months
of us
months.
had
It-
moved out.
But that's why I also think this. I think there comes a point when you meet somebody, you guys are both saying, we're going to make this shit happen.
Yeah.
I was all in the day that I met Bianca.
That's the
and I know that sounds
And
so
Bianca
romantic.
didn't
so
want a
stupid.
boyfriend until she was going to be with that guy. I don't think she had a
No,
boyfriend
she
other than
didn't.
you.
She
No.
didn't.
Okay.
She has
didn't.
never had a boyfriend up to me. But here's the thing. I met Bianca and I knew that, like, it was such a weird thing because if you know our relationship story, like, I ignored her for the first week. I was a total asshole, which isn't in my total
Well, what's the
character.
funniest? The other side of the coin is that she's coming out. She's like, "There's this guy in my class.
Mhm.
I'm like intrigued. Not my type, but she was telling us. She was like, "There's this dude."
Yeah.
On the flip side, had you not been a dick for a week, would she have been interested?
It's a weird thing. It's a weird thing, and we'll never know. But the thing is, like,
She needs to be here.
That's true.
I lucked out in that she was as committed as me. I took a risk because I sat there and, like, the first night we actually legitimately talked. We talked for like 6 hours, and I went home and I called my best friend at the time, and I was like, "Dude, I think I just met the one." And if you talk to
sweet.
Bianca, she
That's
called
sweet.
her friend at the
She
time.
didn't call me.
I know, but like
Shade.
it was. Listen, she called her friend
No,
at the
I
time,
know.
and she said the same thing. And so we got lucky that we found someone that I wish I could explain it. I don't
But-
believe in love at
But
first
that's what I mean.
sight.
She
Yeah.
didn't change you. Fundamentally,
that's-
you guys are the same. You haven't
Yeah.
changed.
No,
Right.
You
because
haven't
I
changed
have
Bianca fundamentally.
changed.
No.
Well, but you've also
No, I think
grown.
we evolved
Mature.
together.
Grown
You guys
as
have
a
evolved
ball.
Yes.
together. She saw the potential in
Yeah.
you. She pushed you where she knew
And
she
you
can.
and her.
You
Hold on,
didn't-
and you and
Yeah,
her.
I
You
know,
were
you
done
are.
with
I don't know.
dating.
Bianca
You were
feels
done
like
with
the same
dating.
to me.
No, but like you
No.
have evolved together.
She's
Yes.
more patient. She's more calm.
No, I
She
agree
doesn't
with him.
swing on me no more. You know?
I guess that's fair. I guess that's fair.
It could be because she gotten older, but I'm just saying. Like,
No, but
told her
like you
to
guys
swing
have,
on
you
Edison.
guys.
Yeah. No, but I think the
but it
key
would-
though is that the
Yeah.
fact that like you, and again, this kind of comes back to that masculine and leading, is that she was not going to meet you until you said like, I'm all in. Like, you knew that you were all in when you met her. And I think she probably felt that energy. Like, Bianca's very intuitive. And like, I don't know. I feel like it's also one of those things where it's like, if she knows, and I don't know, this is maybe just me, but like, if I know that that's where that person is going to be, like, then I'm willing to give it that shot as well.
I disagree with that.
I'm going to disagree with that because I know Bianca didn't. Because Bianca had a conversation with a friend 3 weeks after when things were starting to get a little bit more serious. Because
everything happened quick.
Yeah, and it did. And like, this is why, like, when people say, like, oh, things are happening quick, we're moving in together, do you recommend it? No. I'm like,
well, they were
pump your brakes, bro.
No, but they were thrown in unique circumstances. It was a very unique circumstance.
Well, this is what it was.
I had the choice
she was going to college,
the relationship or stop. And I said...
And he took the risk.
What's the worst they can happen?
But both of you did.
This relationship.
Both of you did. Well, she had a chance to walk away and be in college by herself.
She absolutely did.
But that's what I'm saying, is that both of you guys decided to take a risk together.
But I disagree that... You see, that's where we give too much power on the other one. So you're telling me that if he didn't have that energy, she wouldn't... I think that she was already...
Into it?
Open into... Not necessarily him, but the idea of my first boyfriend's going to be the person that I really want to spend the rest of my life with.
If she already had that, sure, but it still doesn't mean that he was going to be her first boyfriend.
No.
That's what I'm saying.
But until everything lined up
right, but that's what I'm saying is that everything does have to line up. And I think that's what I feel like men need to understand about women is that, like, we are willing to do this, but we have to know that this is actually going to move.
No, but that's unfair. Because there's a difference between men and women. We are also willing to do this, but we also need to know because we don't want to be made stupid. So we all have that as human beings, right?
Of course.
But yeah, somebody has to take the risk, right, though? But somebody's got to take the risk.
You got to take the risk if you want it. Like, I work in finance, right?
I graduated in finance.
Yes, so I know. So you know the basic relationship.
Well, you know I'm a finance manager.
You got to take risk. You got to take risk if you want a big reward. But and I'm not saying, like, you're not going to hurt. You are going to hurt.
No, you're going to hurt.
I talk to women so often, and I had things where, like, I opened up a little bit, and I got, like, shamed. I got guilt. I got people that were like, oh, that's fucking weird. And it's like, ooh, as a man, and this is maybe, like, not, but, like, as a man, when you have a woman tell you, like, oh, that's a little bit much. That's weird. I feel doubly embarrassed. A, because I opened up. 2, because you're calling me weird for being a man.
Yeah.
And so, but the thing is, I took those risks, and I took, like, a lot of ill-advised risks. But I took one risk, and it worked out real good for me, didn't it?
It did. But I agree with Jack in the sense where, like, I'm sorry, I would want the man to put the step forward.
I think
I would give the inclination that I'm into him.
If you give the right environment, I think it's fair to ask the guy. And I
know now you guys are going chasing and stuff. What I'm saying is, at the end of the day, are you into it? At the end of the day, are they into it?
Yeah. But that's what I'm saying is that I am into it. And I think this is the thing is that women are I think we're more emotionally open, and there are things that we're willing to jump into kind of blindly. I think men work off of a blueprint, whereas women are just like, I can do this, and they are actually very inclined to take risks emotionally. Whereas that's where, like, I know for myself, I kind of need a slight, not major,
security.
a slight security that, like, is this risk? Like, I need to mitigate, right? Well, as a little bit as I can.
I guess what risk are we talking about?
Experience. Like, I get that. I do 100%.
I'm never going to sit there and ask the guy, what are we?
Absolutely. I'm not going to sit there. I'm not going to ask that. And
it's not because I'm afraid of rejection. I think that if I'm showing the inclination, like, that's where I want a guy to lead, where it's like,
yeah,
I agree. I would want him to take the next step. I don't want to be like, so what are we? And then I don't like that.
I think you're giving guys too much credit. Mm-hmm. I think you're giving guys way too much credit. And I've had this conversation with a lot of women.
But that's the feminine too, though.
I understand.
Giving the room for the guy to be able to be open and tell you that he does. So if you're not willing to make that first step because you're the woman and this and that, it just...
Well, no, we have to give some sort of inclination because I've seen that.
We're idiots.
That,
sometimes we don't see the
that's
clues.
What I'm saying. I have to give like.
So you think that as us females should ask? No. We should not ask. No. If a guy is making me ask, what are we? That's an issue. I have my answer.
Guys, don't hate me.
No, I'm just listening. I'm just taking it all in.
Guys are stupider than you think.
No, I don't think so.
You need to hear this in a better term.
Like, we're conniving. Like, we figured this out. Guys, mess with your head.
Yeah. No, I know you guys don't think the way we think.
Than you think. And I'm not saying that I'm a smart guy.
No, but I know what you're saying. You guys are not calculative.
No, we're not sitting there thinking. We can be, but typically, guys are not sitting there thinking about their next move. They're thinking about today. They're thinking about
blueprint.
And I get that you want a guy that can think to the future, but you may need to lead him a little
But
bit
not
more
the
than just
future. I'm
giving
not saying the
inclination.
future, but
no,
I'm
no,
saying
no,
is
but the future being
if you
RB
want to
something.
take the next step, I'm not going to be the person to take the next say that we should take the next
I'm not
step.
saying you have to be. I think you need to really drive points that you are ready for.
Okay,
the next.
But I have no problem giving the inclination.
Okay,
but I'm
hold
not
on.
going to sit there and be like, so are
What
we
is your
taking
inclination
this?
though?
Well-
Because I think women here.
A guy knows when a girl's
No.
into them.
But what's
No.
If you've been
And
seeing-
I'm gonna tell you that because Eddie's laughing,
No.
and we all agree.
Hear me out. So you're telling me if you've been going on dates for like a month or two with a girl, you wouldn't know if she's into you.
I think I was nervous as hell. Bianca and I had been on so many dates.
But
when I
why
had-
would she still
Guys
keep
You don't
going
understand.
on?
I had been dating Bianca. I had taken her out on dates.
You what?
We had gone to Santa Monica. We
But
had gone
why
to all
would
these
she
things.
keep going if she wasn't? We're
Why
talking
would
about a
he, though? Hold
month.
Do you know
Hold on,
how
why would he,
hard
though?
my heart was beating when I
Why-
asked
why
her
would
to
a guy,
be
though?
my
But you guys are
girlfriend?
forgetting that, like, as females, I know when a guy's into me, but it doesn't mean
Hold on,
that I'm
kind of
gonna.
clearly not though.
No, what? Let me speak, okay? Because my point is that I'm just not going to be the person to make initiative to define
Okay,
this
how about
relationship.
this? How about this?
That I can understand.
I'm not.
Right, I'm
asking
not.
her.
Yeah, we're not going to be one
That's
to
what I'm
define
saying.
it.
That's fair.
I will give you the inclination that I'm into you.
Okay, but how about this then? What are practical ways then that a woman, because you're saying men are stupid, which we all know, but then what ways does a woman let a man know that she's into him to give him the
I've got
space
one
to then
good
come
sentence.
I
I've
like-
got one good
okay.
sentence you can say to let the guy know that you are ready for the next step. Hey, I really like you. Done. You say that at the end of a date, I now know you're ready for the next. I now know you are ready for the next step. You don't say that to me, like, oh, she's half in, half out. Oh,
Really?
I talk too
Well,
much.
here's the thing. We're also not trying to lose you either, especially if we think you're someone that we
Special.
value. We don't want
Right.
to lose it, right? And that's part of playing the game, but also not this, not that. So that's tough. I think we don't know. It doesn't matter. But okay, we're having this conversation way out of context. Like, so it's very different from being on an app, dating 2 or 3 weeks. Like, all these things are very different as how much conversation you've had. But I don't think there's anything wrong with a woman saying, so where do you see things going? What are you interested in? Because
That's
here's the thing, maybe
different.
I think Sana said that she doesn't
want
want
to
to initiate that conversation, right? You don't want to be the one that has it because it feels
So
like
you rather
Well,
walk
I
away from a
actually-
good thing?
See,
it's
I
not about
actually-
walking away from a good thing. It's just I'm not going to initiate the what are we until he does.
Why did you let yourself feel that insecure or so? It's
not about me feeling
But
insecure.
like not knowing what's happening in the situation. So what I'm saying is, the second you don't know what you guys are, why not say, what's going on here? Because I don't want to invest another
Because
day. I don't want to invest.
I
another
feel like
time.
if the guy's not making it clear, I have my answer.
But you don't know why the guy's not making it clear. Maybe you gave him
I
1,000
feel like-
signs to not be clingy.
See, because I agree with this, because even $1 Million Matchmaker Patty Stanger says, I was watching a pod with her, but she even says, she's like, at a certain point, like, you don't necessarily ask what are we,
Yeah.
but you say, like, and typically she's saying this conversation takes place like if you're already in a relationship together, but there's no talk of future or ring or something like
Well,
that, or
that's like marriage.
right? But I think you can still take it to, like, if you are dating but you're not exclusive and you know that you would like to be exclusive with this person, you've said, hey, I really like you,
I think
or like, I'm not talking to anyone else, like, you've given the hints. But I think there's a difference between saying, like, so where is this going, and giving that awkward pause. She says, give the awkward pause, versus saying, what are we?
Yeah.
Those are
Where
two
is this
very
going?
different things.
Here's the reason I don't like the questioning is it puts pressure on the guy, and I think sometimes guys panic when there's pressure, and like, maybe you're wrong, maybe you disagree with me, not wrong, maybe you disagree with me.
You're wrong.
But no, like, I have not always acted well when questions are posed to me under the gun, and especially if I'm feeling nervous about, like, hey, I really like this girl, like, I wanna pursue something different with her. I am gonna take extra caution, which could screw me because I'm being too cautious with approaching. But the second someone tells me, like, hey, like, and even if you want to drop the really, I like you.
Mm-hmm.
I think you say that after 3 weeks of dating. I know where your intentions are. I know what my next steps need to be. You don't tell me that. Even if we're doing great, we're having a great time, we're going to dates, every hour we're texting each other. I'm questioning in my head. And there's a line between being too bold or being bold and needy. And I don't want to ever come off as needy as a guy.
Yes,
because
I can
I've done
understand
that.
Yes.
And it's bitten me in the ass so hard.
Yes.
And for good reason. Because, like, I was.
I feel like
needy.
I've never had to. I would just think about the guys I've like been involved with. I don't feel like I've ever had to be the one to be like, I like you. Like I feel like they've.
What's the risk you take in saying it?
It's not the risk I take. I'm just saying they've made it clear.
But
And
if you like the guy, have you ever been the person to say you like him?
It's just not my style.
I
Yeah.
understand,
No, but-
Sana. Like, I get you don't want to initiate.
But that's a great question right
Yeah.
there. At the end of the day, if you have any inclination that this person might be worth more of your time, why wouldn't you put yourself out there to ask,
Because
as opposed to losing interest?
I think to me, like, and I think this goes back to like I just don't find it like if I'm the one who has to initiate all of these things, like I'm not trying to date a girl.
No,
like,
hold on. Initiate all these things is different, but here's the problem there. You're not allowing humans to be humans in the sense of like, you propose a question and now you see how he acts. Does he
Yeah.
step up or does he walk away?
Yeah.
The thing is that you make yourself vulnerable and you don't want to see someone. I think that we don't want to see somebody walk away from us. But at the end of the day, the problem there would be, again, simping, not respectful. You say that and then you still stay there. Or he calls you next week and you show up at his house. That's the problem. But there is not a problem saying, what's going on with this? What are we? Maybe the guy had absolutely no idea that that's what you wanted, and he didn't want to come off too strong, so he didn't lose you because he enjoys your time so much right then and there.
Do you think that happens more often than not then?
I would say
That
a
men
lot of
are
guys that I've
nervous to
talked
kind of put that out there?
In my perspective, and the guys I talk to and I'm friends with, yes. But when I
Yeah.
talk to women and the experiences that you guys have, I understand. Like, I literally,
It's a
like, I hear
tough
you guys'
thing,
understanding.
right?
Like, I hear
Yeah.
women's conversation, I'm like, well, hold on. Like, I'll literally be at work like, what happened? Like, I'm a manager, and I'm walking by, and these, like, sales girls are, like, the
Yeah.
cashier, and
Yeah.
I'm like, hold on. Is that really how people act nowadays?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, like, yes, I think it happens more often than not, based on my personal experience, based off of the people I surround myself with.
Right.
Based on your guys' perspectives and the conversations that I've been with, I totally get where you guys are coming from too.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like,
No, I get it.
But
I
at the end of the
think,
day, what do you lose by being vulnerable?
but I think you guys both make a really good point. Is like, what do you lose? And like, then what's is the risk worth it?
the thing is now you
And,
walk
like,
away. We're afraid, like you say that, maybe you're having a lot of fun and you don't want to hear, no, I'm not interested in.
Right.
And then also, why did you wait to the point where
you don't know or something.
Well, not only that, but like where you're already fed up.
Mm.
Where if he doesn't tell you what you guys are, you're already done with the
But
situation.
I also feel like we've been conditioned in the sense where it's like when we say this, then we run the risk of the guy taking advantage of us.
Absolutely.
Same as us, though.
No,
That's what I'm
it's
saying.
a little different.
It is a little different. You're right.
I think
And-
it's a
and-
little different. I agree, Sana.
Yeah, we run the risk of a guy just wanting to mess with us, lead us on, and say the bullshit we want to hear. And I think that's why a lot of
Sure.
girls want to hear it from the guy first.
Absolutely. And that's
No,
why
no, but
I
you're gonna
don't
hear
pose
it
as
from
a
the guy
question.
first. But let me ask you a
Okay,
question.
then I have no problem expressing after
okay,
that.
so let me switch it around this way.
But-
no,
but
but you're
do you
expressing it.
see-
So let me say, what if he turned around and said to you, Sana, what are we? Like we've been dating for like 3 weeks.
Okay.
What are we?
Well, then I would be like, I'm enjoying our conversation. I'm not talking to anybody else.
So you're still
I
not
would-
committing to it. You're still not saying I
You're
would like
hedging.
this. You're this. You're like all the
No,
things I'm not doing.
I didn't finish.
No,
but I would have been
but your
like,
first reaction was not, I really like where we're going.
I'm here for you and to see where this goes, and I'm actually kind of waiting until you ask me out.
You know?
I don't know if I'd be that ballsy.
But
I'm
what I'm
ballsy.
But
I'm gonna
that's
throw
kind of
two
what it
things
has-
out to you.
Yeah.
I'm
But
gonna
you're
throw-
saying I don't want to initiate that conversation. So are you saying I don't want to initiate the conversation, or are you saying that I want the guy to always tell me that I want to be with you?
Oh, that's an interesting question.
Because you didn't get his answer, you just asked a question. And him initiating the question is not giving you the answer or being masculine enough to say, I want you to be my woman.
That's a very interesting question, though. That's, I don't know. Definite food for
I'm
thought.
gonna say
though.
two things here.
Okay.
First, I hear you that you don't wanna make the first move, which is why I don't pose. I know you say the what are we, I don't pose the question. I use I statements.
That's
I
actually
like
good.
you.
Yeah.
Let him deal with that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And if he says,
Thank you.
I like you too. If he sits there and waffles for a second, you have your answer. Then
Yes.
maybe he does like you. No, maybe
Let
he does
him
like
waffle.
you.
Give it a day or two, but see what his next step is.
But you've given
No,
him
it's-
the
Dare
groundwork.
to.
You've given him enough. We're not gonna call it bait, but you've given him enough direction. You don't need to say,
I
like you and I want the next step.
No, I agree with
like you.
Well,
If you can't
but not
decide
only that,
from there.
but even walk away from it
My
and
experience.
then see what he does.
Yeah.
Because the
experience-
guy's gonna chase. He'll say, "Oh my god, I don't want to lose you," or
It
he's like,
depends.
"It's okay."
You're taking a risk, but your risk is that he will commit to you.
I think you
or
guys
he
are
won't.
seeing it from a very like
Male perspective.
No,
male
because
perspective, and you're
and
seeing
this
it. You're
is why I
also
want to
seeing
bring
it.
up second thing. Can I bring up the
Okay,
second thing?
Okay.
Our first date. I told Bianca about how I'd had terrible dates, which you're not supposed to do, by the way. First date, don't talk about
other.
exes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We spent the entire time talking about exes. So this
fun,
is
though.
the
That can be
conversation
fun.
Bianca will
That
laugh
can be
about because
fun.
I literally looked up tips for first dates, and they were like, whatever you do, don't bring up your exes. What did we spend 2 hours talking about?
Exes.
My exes.
Yeah.
I'd had a terrible date where I went on with this girl, dating app.
Mm.
And like, I don't have these insane expectations. We were going to sushi and we were going to chill and just like maybe go to the Irvine Spectrum. I planned the date. She said she liked fish, sushi. Awful. Worst date of my life. I wanted to leave 5 minutes in. I was in that date for 5 hours because she made us.
Oh my god.
She made us. Like, I thought dinner was done and I was like ready to
What
call
a
it
gentleman.
off. And she's like,
Literally.
hey, the movie theater's right next door. Let's go watch a movie.
Oh.
And I'm sitting there like, I could not want to leave more than right now. But I didn't want to be a jerk. So we went and saw a movie. And the entire time, I swear to God, like this woman just didn't like men, let alone me.
Okay.
And like, I'm fine with that. You don't like men, that's fine. But don't force me to be on the date. But anyway.
Yeah.
So at the end of the date, it was raining. And I offered to walk her to her car. Because
Sweet.
I wanted to not
That's
be
so
a dick,
sweet.
right?
Kind, yes.
And I
This,
had
this is gonna go into
No, nice. Not
No, no,
kind.
no,
yeah,
no,
this
no.
is bridging nicely.
That was nice.
This
Yeah.
bridges into why I'm
That's
bringing
nice.
this up. She doesn't want to tell me where her car is. Okay, I wanted to make sure you got to your car safely. It's raining. I have an umbrella. Like, just thought I'd be nice. And she's like, well, you can walk me to the structure. Structure's on the opposite side of my car.
Oh my
I'm like,
god.
sure. Walk her to the structure. She leads me to the level, and she says, okay, that's far enough.
That's fine.
Oh hell.
I'm done. I'm
Oh
just
my
trying
God.
to leave, but I'm not trying to be a dick.
Yeah.
Oh God bless, but no, you should.
Literally.
Yeah, but no,
God
you
bless.
should
And like,
just
let's
like
preface this with, she said any physical contact was like, she thought was awful. And so like, I didn't even go near this woman. I didn't touch her hand, nothing.
yikes.
The second she
I
said
turn
physical
around,
contact, I walk
she
away.
kisses me on the cheek and jumps back. I'm not kidding. Like 3 feet. Like she does a bunny hop back. And I look at her like,
What
okay.
just happened?
And then she turns around and leaves, doesn't say a damn thing. Then messages me later that night, like, I don't think it's working out between us.
She might have been on the spectrum.
It doesn't matter. So I told Bianca about that date.
Yeah.
We have our first date. We're talking, we're having a good time.
Yeah.
I'm drinking because I just turned 21. Took her out on a date where I thought we could get cool drinks. And Bianca's not 21 yet. I didn't know. Talk about planning the first date, not having a good plan.
Yeah.
Bianca can't drink.
She had
I'm
a
sitting there,
fake.
order whatever you
She
want.
had a fake.
Order
fake.
whatever you want. She doesn't order water, and I've already ordered a drink.
That's great.
I felt terrible at that point. And then she tells me she's 20, not 21. I'm like, oh,
She
good thing
could've
I brought us to a
divulged- She
bar.
could have divulged that information
Anyway.
before.
Long story short, at the end of the date, we're getting up. And like, I'm getting in my, I walked her to her car because I'm a nice person. And
Yeah.
I
That's
don't,
kind.
you know, like that's just like a nice
Yeah.
person thing. That's not a gentleman thing. You walk a woman to her car.
Yeah,
It's a very
100%.
gentleman thing for her to do.
100%.
I turn around and she kissed me before I could kiss her.
Oh.
That's my sister. Good
She
job.
took the first step.
What brother would say that? My brother would be like, she kissed
No,
it?
she took the first
my
step,
sister-
and she made a joke right after because it's Bianca, and she's like,
Yeah.
"I didn't jump back." I'm like, oh, so funny,
That was cute.
That
Like,
was
it
planning
was the
cute.
story.
Yeah.
She took a risk right then and
Yeah.
there.
True.
I knew from that second on, I wanted to date this. You know, like I wanted to plan the next day, and then she invited me on the next date. She
Yeah.
didn't even let me get to
Yeah.
the next date, but she took that risk because she felt something. And I'm not saying that you need to feel this with everyone, but if you feel something with someone, you
Act
need to
on
be
it.
ready to take a risk and step outside.
And
your
I will
comfort
tell
zone.
you this, Bianca
Mm-hmm.
asking you for that second date, I think is probably a 50-50 chance to make you go run away or not.
Absolutely.
No, I mean, in
Yeah.
all those experiences, like, you just had that, and all of a sudden, not to the second, you don't even get to, hey, listen, I'm interested in you, I want to see you, or even at that, I want to go on a date again, which means all those things.
Yeah.
A lot of us are too dumb to understand what those things are. And I think a lot of us don't realize what green flags are.
But I will say though.
So true.
We don't know, not
Green
even that,
flags.
but when you guys met at 21 compared to dating in your 30s with social media, with apps, is a big difference.
Do you think it's easier to fall in love at 21 because you're less, like, you're more idealistic and more into the
not
dream?
So bitter.
No, but it's different.
No, but it's a dream.
The answer, yes.
It's
I think
so
it was,
different.
Because now we think of everything.
It was easier for me to commit to Bianca at 21 because I had worked dead-end jobs. I was trying to work my way through college, and I found a woman who... she knew what she wanted to do, and she had a path set ahead of her, and she said, hey, I'm going to go do this. Do you want to come along? And I said, I don't know where this is going to lead, but I'm going to go there. At 30, you have an idea of who you are as an individual and where you want to go. It's harder.
It's not even harder, but now we have so much more distractions. Baggage.
Yeah.
Not even that. Social media was not the way it is when we were 21. It is insane now. The options are endless. People don't, like... everybody's so disposable to people. There's not the intent to, like, put in the work anymore.
Yes, but I'm not trying to call you out, Sana. I think that's a bit of an excuse.
I'm the open one. What I'm saying is that it is different.
There are quality men out there.
Sure,
and you're gonna have shitty men to find.
But why are you on social media? Why do you jump onto it that much if we know that's a bad thing? Like, why do we subscribe to things that we know have made things?
Well, I mean, no, that's a fair question. I think she has a point as far as saying, like, because I remember reading an article saying that, like, dating apps basically make dating and people like slot machines. You always think the next swipe is going to be the next big pull.
That's the issue.
And you think it's I'm going to find the next one. I'm going to find the next one. You can be on a date and go into the bathroom and be on an app and plan your next date. And so I think it makes people very disposable. I think it's very much relationships in general. So now it's taken already the immaturity that we kind of have and made it even worse because people then now worship everything but value nothing. So it's this, now you're dealing with the immaturity. You're dealing with the lack of vulnerability. I'm not going to take a risk. Like, well, then you have to do something. Well, then you have to do something. And right now in the United States, there's the most single women that's ever been, which is actually having an impact on the economy. And there's a rise of lonely single men. Mm-hmm. And it's because it's kind of, I think the good people that are out there, because I agree with you. I think there are good men out there and there are good women. But we get so tired and it gets so exhausting. And and because we don't have boundaries, because we don't respect ourselves, like, we haven't done the work on ourselves, then we get so tired and then we're just like, I'm done and I'm over it and I'm not going to do this anymore. But then it's a cop out because then we're not putting in the effort.
And we've been sold Disney. We've been sold, I meet the right person, it's easy.
Yeah.
That's a lie, and I met the right person. It was never easy.
No, but it's different. I think it's different.
Yeah.
I feel like we're going to have to do a part 2.
Yes.
I'm
we're going to have to do a part 2. We're going to have zoom in.
Can I throw one thing out?
One thing.
Bring us home,
to the men and the women who are out there. I'm in finance. I look at these things a lot, and there's a little bit that I could be ignorant in this position. I know dating apps are popular. I know that that's a way to meet people because it's a way to connect with people who are saying, hey, I'm single. Mm-hmm. But I do think of dating apps as playing the slot machine. Yeah. You hear about the ones who made it, the ones who hit the jackpot, and you don't hear about the 100,000 people who did not get anything. And I'm not saying you can't meet somebody good off a dating app, but I'm telling you, if you want to meet someone of quality, you need to find a place of quality to meet them. And like college was where I met my wife, but there are a million things you can do activities-wise that aren't bars, that aren't other things. And I really do believe, even if that activity isn't how you meet the person, it will connect you to how you meet that person. So feel good in what you do that you like and start connecting with people who feel the same.
Agreed.
Yeah. Don't go to the dating app.
Yeah, no, agreed.
Deleting.
No, and
I mean, like, I'm not saying you can't do it if you want to have fun.
Yeah.
If you want to have fun, dating apps are great.
Yes.
But
you're looking for a relationship,
but the odds are
you're playing a scratcher and hoping to hit the millions, and I don't believe in it.
It's a great way to put it.
No, I agree with you. I don't believe in it. I didn't
Yeah.
even want to get on.
Yeah,
But
I
here-
forced her. I said
Well,
it's
for
good
the plot,
pod.
right? For the plot.
It's good for the pod.
Which we still got to talk about. So we are going to do a part 2.
Yes.
This
I'm in
do
for the
part
part
two.
2. I'm sorry, we
gonna-
took a lot of your
Edison,
time
No,
on
no,
this.
we're gonna zoom him in, FaceTime him in.
Yeah,
Oh,
zoom
yeah.
you in,
I'm in.
absolutely.
Yeah, we're
Well,
gonna-
I'll send you whiskey.
Yes. We'll drink
We're gonna do
again.
it because I
We're
think
not sponsored, but if Screwball wants
But
to.
if you would like
you
to
want to,
I mean,
sponsor
I
us-
don't know, podcast on Spotify.
yes.
no, thank
you
you
guys for
both.
being on.
Yes.
Honestly, this
So happy to
is
be on.
so
Great.
It was
insightful.
fun.
So much
We
fun.
appreciate it. This
We're,
was fun.
we're
This was
gonna
a
do
lot of
another
fun.
one. Stay
Yes.
tuned.
Yes. But thanks
And-
everyone for tuning in.
Have a great week.
See you next week. Bye.